guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today is Wednesday, so you know what that means. It is Wednesday Whoop or Womp. So today I'm going to be trying out a couple different products from BH Cosmetics. Every single Wednesday I do a vlog style try on. I don't like first impressions. I like to wear the product within the day because you may apply it on camera and you may love it, and then all of a sudden 3-4 hours later you're like, wow, I really hate this shit. So today the products that we're going to be figuring out if they're Whoop or Womp. BH Cosmetics just came out with their brand new BH Liquid Foundation Naturally Flawless. And another thing, we're going to do a Whoop or Womp, which I decided midway of doing the application because honestly I was only going to do the foundation. But I was like, let's try out some more products. So we're going to do the Nude Blush, which I have tried out before and I really love it. But you're just going to see how it performs right here. Also the Contour Palette right here, and also the Spotlight Highlight. So we're gonna figure out all of these products are a Whoop or a Womp. Whoop or Womp. So I am trying out two different brushes, one from their Rose Gold line and also from their brand new Studio Pro. I have been trying out a couple brushes from the Studio Pro and I will say I really love them. I just recently did a video on their new brow, well not new, but new to me, their brow pomade with their Studio Pro brow brush, which is an absolute dupe of the Anastasia brush, which is $18, and that one the other day was 33% off, so it was only like $3.34 I think it was, which is a steal. And then also the brow pomade, I'll link it down below and I'll link it right here so you guys can go check that out, and that is what I use for my brows. So like I said, I was just gonna go ahead and just do the foundation, but I figured, hey, let me show you some of my favorites and some products that I can put them to the test as well, and you guys can see how they perform. Let's kind of touch base on this baby because I feel like a lot of people are super interested in this product because it is brand spanking new. This is the BH Liquid Foundation Naturally Flawless. They did add hyaluronic acid and a lot of good skincare benefits into it. They have 18 different shades, which I think is amazing. I love a good shade range because you guys know I'm all about that. Taste the rainbow. Plus it is decently priced. I really like the frosted bottle. I'm all about that life, and I love how they have a pump, so I think it's really good. As far as their palettes, I really like their contour palette. I will say their packaging for this is a little bit on the cheaper side, but I feel like I rather have them sacrifice packaging than quality because I think the quality is pretty amazing. You'll see how I demonstrate this to put, you know, my all over bronze and glow and all of that good stuff. Well, not glow, my bronze. I also go into the Nude Blush palette. I have really good just experiences with this palette. This is my newer one because they did send these products to me and I just tossed my other one because it was ugly and old and disgusting. So now I got some brand spanking new ones and I love this palette. I said later on it's perfect for fall. I love how it's decently priced and the blushes really last on me. I've never had any issues with them, and I believe they have another blush palette out. I want to say that. And then as far as the Spotlight Highlight of color, this is the one that I'm using right there. I do really like the range of the palette. I mean, I obviously don't dip into these lighter shades. This is like a frosty pearl and this one's more like a white gold, but it's a little bit too light on me, but these four I definitely can use. I really like the pigmentation of them. I think that they blend on the skin beautifully and they're buttery, and it's super affordable as well. There was one palette that I thought that was okay. It was kind of like the Kat Von D one. I mentioned it before. I'll put like a little picture right here of it. I thought that palette was okay, but it's definitely not my favorite. It's a little bit more on the powdery side, and I feel like it doesn't lay on the skin as buttery as this one does, so just a little FYI. I will also be testing out the Flux Lacquer. They have a ton of different shades. I love the comfortability of this, and again, decently priced. So you guys will see in the demo how I demonstrate everything. Now I'll stop blabbering about the products and let's get into the demo and we'll see how this baby wears within the day. Whoop! Let's start with application. I already primed my face. I used the Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer. It's been super hot here in LA and today it has reached 101. Where the hell is fall? So as far as my shade, I am actually mixing two different shades. I'm mixing the color 217, which is Sand. This one is a little bit too dark for me, and I will say a little bit on the orange side. And then I'm taking 211 Toasted Almond, which is a little bit too light, but also neutral, which I really like. So hopefully in combination, these two will make my perfect shade. In between these two was a rose one and an olive. I do not have an olive skin tone, and the rose one is way too pink. So I figured these two will just be my concoction. Okay, so here are my two foundations right here. Obviously you can see Sand is a little bit too dark. This is a pretty thick foundation because look, that thing, it's literally ready to paint. Like I'm ready to paint someone, like a naked person standing right there. We also have the shade Sand. Let's bring this down, and that one is a little bit lighter. So after mixing them, it's looking okay, like it might be a good match. I don't want to go too dark and I don't want to go too light, but if anything, I'd rather have it lighter because then it's always easier to add on. And let's just place a couple strokes right there. Okay, now that we got those strokes on my face, it's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna be trying out 2 different brushes and also a brand new sponge from them. They came out with the new Studio Pro Perfecting Sponge. I really liked their purple one before. I don't know, I feel like it just has like enough like squishiness. This is what their purple sponge looks like, and I liked it, but then after a while I'm just like, no, actually it's not my fave anymore. This sponge I really like. It's really nice and squishy. I'm probably just gonna put some Max Fix I literally sprayed it the wrong way. And yes, I caught it on camera. I'm just gonna be spraying my sponge. Set that aside. That is so funny. I literally just drank Fix Plus. And I'm also gonna be trying out 2 brand new brushes. This one is from their Studio Pro line. It's a whole new line. So far, I have been enjoying the brushes. And this is number 4, their flat top. And then I also have number 3, which you can see the bristles aren't as tall as the number 4 Studio Pro. This one is from their new Rose Gold 13 brush set collection, which I think looks really, really nice. Look at that, comes with a little cup holder and everything. Studio Pro brush. And let's start blending this baby out. I will say it looks pretty thick on my skin, and for this being a medium to full coverage, I would think right off the bat it would be full coverage just because, I mean, it's pretty thick. It doesn't feel like it's heavy right now. It is blending out nicely, and so far this brush feels pretty good. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like it just because the bristles do seem a little long. A very strong feeling. I'm gonna prefer the shorter bristle one, but we shall see because it doesn't feel as dense. It feels more loose, like. You can immediately see it balanced out my skin. Since the foundation was thick, even though it blended out really nicely, and it doesn't feel heavy on my face, and it doesn't feel too thick or cakey because I feel like you could just feel it when things are like that, but this one doesn't feel like that so far. I think the coverage is a medium natural coverage. I'm gonna go ahead and do a second layer and see what this baby looks like. So hopefully I don't start looking too cakey, but we're gonna go ahead and layer this baby on and see if this is really full coverage or not. So I went ahead and did that second layer. I never bring underneath my eyes just because I feel like the more you pile underneath your eyes, the more you're gonna get ready for creasing, and ain't nobody got time for that. I went ahead and did the second layer, and I will say it's starting to look a little bit cakey. I feel like it's bringing out more texture in my skin. It does look like foundation. It doesn't look like it's sitting natural on my skin in person as well. It doesn't look that natural, but I really do like the finish of it because it kind of has like this glowy demi matte finish. I'm gonna try the brush from the Rose Gold set. It's just too flimsy. It's not dense at all. And this one has more density to the brush, but then it's like a little bit too long. I don't know. It's like you need like the perfect medium. You need to combine these two. Yeah, I don't know if I really care for this one. I think this one would be really good though if it was a little bit smaller and it can blend out cream contour. That would be good. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the sponge and see how I like this. See, I really like this sponge. I feel like it just has like the right amount of firmness because even though I do like some bounce to my sponge, I want to feel that the product isn't getting soaked up. And with this material, it doesn't get soaked up at all. It's literally just pushing the product and blending it into the skin. It's not too firm, but just firm enough. At least I think so. But if you're someone where you like something super squishy, then you probably wouldn't like this. But to me, it's perfect. Okay, so now just looking at the foundation in person, I personally really prefer the sponge side. I feel like it looks more flawless. Again, this is only one layer. I feel like the brush just makes it look a little bit more cakey, not as flawless. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more foundation, whatever I have left. Build this up. I did have some discoloration here, so we'll see if that's gonna cover it up. I'll concentrate the product here. All right, well, it did a decent job at kind of covering it up, but you can still see some pinking through. I mean, just after layering, I think the coverage honestly is a more natural coverage, and then you can build it up to like a fuller medium. But to me, this is definitely not full coverage in my opinion. I wouldn't suggest layering 3 layers because I think that's just doing too much. I have been using the BH Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer. I highly recommend it. Shade number 113. This is my second tube. This has really good coverage. I did a video on it and I said it reminded me of the coverage of like Tarte Shape Tape combined with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, except the Bye Bye Under Eye, I don't know, literally that had to go bye-bye out of my collection because it just creases and it's too emollient. But this is like the perfect medium of like the Tarte Shape Tape. and the Bye Bye Under Eye, this is it. This is their child. It's full coverage. It blends out beautifully. I really like it. I will say I wish this sponge had a little bit more of a tip just so I can really get in there. That's a little bit of a downside, because if you look at like a beauty blender, see how it has more of that tip and then you can get right in there. This is a little bit too dull right there, so it's like you gotta really be careful and push in there. I love how smooth it goes underneath the eye. Look at that. It is a really amazing concealer and it is so affordable. I went ahead and set my concealer. Now I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Laura Mercier powder. I'm going to try out this rose gold brush and see how it works out. I always set the foundations with Laura Mercier because, one, I don't want any extra coverage. I just want to see how the foundation is going to perform on its own. And it's a really nice light setting powder. It's not too cakey. Okay, so now after setting my face, I can still see that the sponge side is a little bit more flawless, but I will say after setting it with the Laura Mercier, the side with the brush, it doesn't look as bad and it doesn't look as cakey. It's probably just because the foundation just kind of settled. So I'm going to be using this shade right here. I kind of do like a mixture depending, but I did just self tan, but I'm not too tan, so I'm going to mix these two because I like more of like a warm all over bronze. I'm taking one of the rose gold brushes. I'm going to start just placing that all over, starting with very little product just so I can like blend out and not add too much. And yeah, so let's just see how this works out. If you're someone where you do maybe freelance or you're just starting your kit, BH has a ton of nice palettes, and I believe they're also available on Ulta now, which is really good. I think online only though, right? I don't know. I haven't been in store. I usually do online shopping just because I always use Ebates. Look how nicely that blended out. And also, don't knock it for eyeshadows because, hello, transitions. Heller. This is their nude palette. I love this one. This is a brand new one. My other one was pretty nasty and dirty and they sent me a new one, so kind of just switched it out. I love this shade right here. It reminds me of like MAC Gingerly. This is like a perfect, for me, I'm a blush lover, and I think these are perfect fall blushes because they're pink, but they're not too bright. They're all pretty muted. I don't know if you guys see that. Muted type of blush. And these are pigmented. Look how I just barely tapped it right there. So be careful. But I'm a blush lover, like I said, so woo, I'm gonna go to town. And I usually place like a lot of blush just because it does fade within the day. One of the brushes was this, and I could have used it to like really chisel, but hair. I'm just gonna actually use this for highlight. I'm gonna be taking the Spotlight Highlight, not Highlight Bling, or not Hotlight, Hotline Radiance right here, and let's place that at the tops of my cheeks. Not too much though, because they're pigmented. Just do a little dusting right there. Oh, and really quick, if you guys want to know what's on my eyes, look at that pretty purple. I wet it with a Max Fix Plus. I tried out their new palette. This is brand new. I didn't know. They sent it to me. Ultimate Artistry Shadow Palette. I will say the packaging is just like kind of bulky. It's thicker than their other ones. Usually they're a little bit thinner like this. So this one is more thick and super plasticky. I don't really like the feeling of it, but what's inside, like the goodness inside. How come I don't know how to open this now? Really pretty. So the other day I wore that teal. I know, I dipped into color, crazy. I have on today, and it is so pretty, but I wet it. Look at that. Look how cool that one is. Flux Lacquer from BH. I have talked about this on my channel like quite a while ago. This is the shade Coconut. I'm obsessed with these. For me, I made a really big statement in my video and I said they are a dupe for the Dior Fluid Sticks, because if you own one of those, it has like this pillowy finish and it's super cushiony. This is probably like the closest lip product I have ever found to be a dupe for it. So, and Coconut, look how good it glides on, like the pigment. Look at that. And then watch, I'm gonna turn it. Look at that. I'm like, look at that, look at that. So comfortable on the lips, and you guys know, fall and winter time, it gets cold, your lips get chippity chap chap, crusty lips. Moisturize, hydrate, and add a little bit of shine, because I feel like everybody's just done the matte lips so much. Add a little bit of plumpness and sexiness. So I love the shade Coconut. I think it's so beautiful. So cushiony and pillowy, just like the Dior, not like the exact, but so close where I'm like, wow. All right, guys, well, here is the final look. We're going to be doing a Whoop or Womp mainly on the foundation, but hey, since I tried everything else, you guys will see how it works out. And I'll be right back. Whoop! Okay guys, it is 7:12. It is way later in the night. I've had this foundation for quite a while. Put it on like around 11ish. Let's take a good look at it. I actually got some creasing underneath my eyes, but I will say I have not been taking the best care of my under eyes like the last week. And I got no sleep last night. I'm running off of like almost 4 hours of sleep, if that. So overall, the foundation is looking okay. It just disappeared around my nose. Just because I, you know, rub my nose a lot. I always touch my nose, so it always disappears. It's not it's not settling into any fine lines. And I like how it doesn't make me look like super flat matte. I think the bronzer looks really nice, the highlight and the blush. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, honestly. Everything's looking pretty good. I mean, like I said, I think the coverage of the foundation definitely is a medium, at the most medium full. I definitely don't see this being a full coverage foundation. I would say my only gripe so far is just that I liked this side more with the sponge as opposed to the brush side. I don't know, I feel like it just still looks more flawless on this side. I personally can just tell, so yeah. Under eyes, they creased a little, but not like so bad where you gotta see, you guys can see my bags kind of like pulling through, not the darkness, but just like, you know, the depth of my bags. And my brows are looking good because I have the BH brow pomade too. And I was so hot and super sweaty. I just like lost a little probably from touching my face, but nothing has faded and the eyeshadow still looks good, so doing good.
Happy birthday, followed by a happy
Yeah.
If you'd like to have along, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
You guys, we're gonna do a foundation check. We were obviously at Benihana, and do you see how oily I am all over? And I use that pore minimizing primer, and usually that helps. This might be highlight, but I looked even greasy in our picture too. Look how I'm getting oily all over, like quite a bit, like all over my face, even my cheeks. Like I could feel it, and my cheeks are pretty normal all around. Babe, how's my foundation look?
My foundation.
We're gonna go to Target.
Perfect, it's only 20 bucks. Did I have one like this? No.
Oh, I'm going down. Oh, my legs are too sore to go down right now. I did legs yesterday. Hold on, let me try again. Going down. I'm a Voyager. I am Moana. See, it calls me, and no one knows. Gosh. Okay guys, I'm actually like in my pajama tank top and stuff like that, but I wanted to come on here and show you the end of day results. Right now, it is 12:06. I'm charging my phone. It's at 9% right now. So I've worn this foundation. I put it on like around 11 a.m. So that's about 13 hours now. So obviously that's some pretty good wear. I have some pros and I have some cons overall with the foundation. I mean, I will say my skin doesn't feel heavy or dehydrated. It feels pretty moisturized. So if you're someone who has dry skin, I think you would really like this foundation. I just noticed way more oils all around where it's like even going out to my cheeks. And usually my skin type is normal all around and oily just in my T-zone. So all in all, I mean, I did lose foundation around my nose, and in this area it didn't crease up because I lost it. But I find that this foundation really reminds me overall of the L'Oreal Pro Glow. I was wearing it and I was like, this seems like it's super familiar. The only difference is the initial consistency of the foundation. I find that the BH one is pretty darn thick and the L'Oreal one is really thin in formula, but I find that they feel the same, they act the same, except also the blendability, because I find that the L'Oreal Pro Glow, it can blend either with a brush or a sponge. But for this one, I like the way it looks with a sponge. I don't know, I find that foundations, when they look better with a sponge or with a brush, kind of frustrates me. I want a formula that's just gonna work with whatever tool I have. Like I said, for the thickness, I kind of find that the consistency is I don't know, unnecessary. I think the formula could be a little bit more thin just because when you do apply it, it doesn't go on full coverage. It is definitely a more natural medium coverage, and then when you put on a second layer, it is a full medium. I don't find this being super full coverage. If anything, it would have to be a third layer, and that's pretty extreme. I did go to dinner, and I obviously had to reapply my gloss that I had, the coconut. As you can see, when it's completely dried down and a lot of it's missing, it almost leaves like a little bit of like a lipstick type of effect, even though it is a gloss. My highlight obviously stayed really well. My blush ended up getting a little bit patchy, but I was touching my face and I was going like this. I'm one where I was like touching myself. Well, that sounded kind of wrong. I really don't have any issues with the blush just because I have been wearing their formula for quite some time now. And I really love the pigmentation. I think it's a really good affordable blush. And I love how there's such a wide range of colors. So if you're someone where you like larger palettes and to not carry so many individual blushes, I think their blush palette's amazing. As far as the eye palette, the shadows stayed the same. It didn't really crease. I did use an eye primer, but I find that my eyelids were a little bit more oily today and I didn't really set them, so disregard that as well. Let's see. And see, for my brows, I did a recent video on the brow pomade. I didn't mention it in the video. Where is it? Right here. I use the shade Brunette. I'll put that link down below. And I did a full dedicated video to it along with their Studio Pro brush for the brows, which is so bomb. And look at my brows. I am super greasy right now. It's been really hot. It was 101 degrees and my brows are still on. I think they look pretty darn good for after so many hours. I mean, you could see the grease is coming through and the pigment is still just clinging on and holding on, so I still have some brows. I think all the products work well as a Whoop. The foundation, I will say, would probably be the most underwhelming product for me. It wouldn't be a complete Womp, but it's definitely not something that amazes me where I want it to be like a huge Whoop. I find that any other drugstore product can kind of perform like this just because it wasn't anything too amazing. It didn't make my skin look like I just got a fresh facial. It didn't keep me super matte the whole entire day. It was just like a typical, it was good, but it wasn't like amazing, but it wasn't bad. All right, guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll link everything down below. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this Wednesday Whoop or Womp. Really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And also click that little bell down below, even if you already subscribed, because if you don't click it, you ain't with it. And that means you won't always see whenever I upload on YouTube. And I'd really appreciate it. Also, that thumbs up really helps my channel out, so I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Fine apples, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah!